We're here with Mr. Sunny Jackson, Master NLP Practitioner and Family Constellations Facilitator and Trainer. He's been offering this work for over 20 years all around the world, hosting workshops and trainings in Asia, South America, Mexico, and all over the North Americas. He's also the founder of the Ancestral Healing Institute and NLP Hawaii. We're here to ask Sunny the question, what is NLP?
Well, you know, you ask 10 different people, they're going to give you 10 different answers. Same goes for 20 people or 100 even. And the reason why is because NLP is a much broader field than people realize. Neuro-linguistic programming is what NLP stands for. Neuro refers to the brain, linguistics, communication, and programming is pretty self-explanatory, but some use the translation of the effect of language on the nervous system. And I like to focus on the idea of programming. Programming, another word for programming is patterning. And, you know, programming is a computer metaphor, and we're not computers, but we are definitely some kind of programmable being, and we have many programs or patterns, if you will. We are creatures of habit. And so NLP has many tools and techniques for how to navigate and to bring change to whatever the patterns are in our life or the programs are in our life. And to really understand what NLP is, it's important to talk a little bit about how NLP began. And how NLP began was the process of modeling. And what modeling is asking the question, how is someone doing something really well getting the results that they're getting? And so that's why NLP is such a broad field, is because it studies what therapists and healers are doing, what they're doing well. Like, how are they getting the results that they're getting? So there's a common element in all of the healing techniques that are brought into most of the NLP processes. But it's moreover not just what the common elements are, but what are the elements of the people that are getting the most amazing results. And so the reason there's a lot of hypnosis and hypnotherapy and how to communicate with the unconscious in NLP is because they started with Milton Erickson. He was known to be the greatest clinical hypnotherapist of all time. And so they're like, what's this guy doing? What is the language? And so the language and the belief systems and the tools and techniques are then brought to you in learnable chunks. So it becomes very simple on how to achieve the same results that Milton Erickson was achieving. And so more on conscious versus unconscious, but they also studied Fritz Perls, and which is Gestalt therapy, and Virginia Satir, which is a brilliant family therapist. And so it's not just hypnosis, hypnotherapy, it's all these different types of therapies and what those people were doing, what's the common threads, the elements, if you will, of how they're getting these results and how they are holding space. And you know, one of my favorite examples is, after doing all this modeling for many years, some of my teachers and the people that wrote the books on evolving NLP to where it's at today, they went to go study this shaman in Peru because they heard this, I believe it was Peru, yeah. They heard this shaman was getting these amazing, miraculous results. Like this person, someone would come to this shaman with like a broken bone, and at the end of this 3-hour ceremony, they wouldn't have a broken bone anymore. So they went to go witness this shaman perform one of these healings, and they actually witnessed something miraculous along those lines. And afterward, they were asking the shaman modeling questions. And one of the questions he was asked was, when did the healing actually occur? And the shaman said, when I set my intention. The rest was just ritual. And wow, so that's when NLP even focused more on this process called the well-formed outcome. And what the well-formed outcome is a really, really in-depth way of eliciting what the intention is of the person that you're working with. So what does that do? Well, a lot of coaching and a lot of the ways people work with other folks is beginning with intention, and that's a good thing. And yet what that shaman was also expressing was that it's the intention that he had as well. So not only if I'm doing ecological NLP with someone am I asking and eliciting and getting clear and refining what their intention is, but I'm also setting mine to be of service to that. So now we have an agreement field, and that's a really, really powerful container. And that's one of the things I get most excited about NLP, but also when you learn just that little facet of NLP, that's a really good awareness to plug into as a foundation for whatever other healing modality you offer. And that's also why I make it a prerequisite to learn to be a family constellation facilitator, because if you're going to do healing on the soul level, you should have a clean agreement field. And so yeah, modeling. And so that's why there's just so much to it. There's just there's so many tools and techniques that really help with getting to the vibration of what we're wanting to shift. A lot of times people trade the intellectual understanding of something. This is like schooling. Think about schooling in Western society. We are so we're pleased when we have all the information packed in our head, and yet trading the intellectual understanding of something is much different than the practice or the wisdom of applying the information. And so that's where NLP comes in, is that a pattern stays in place until we shift the feeling or the vibration. Then it shifts. That's when something shifts. And so another thing that NLP is really good at focusing on is breaking down the building blocks of our experience, if you will, which are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So that's what we see, hear, and feel. What's important about that is that our cognitive understanding, or the brain, oftentimes when we intellectualize something, we're using a language. That's the neocortex, and science would say that's like the newest part of our brain, but the deeper part of our brain doesn't speak English or verbal language. The deeper part of our brain actually processes in pictures, sounds, and feelings. And so a lot of the processes that are offered in NLP speak that language to the deeper part of you. So that's where the deeper change happens. So it's just one of the most powerful modalities I've ever learned. And the things I've learned in NLP have really helped and accentuated every communication that I've had in my life. So I cannot recommend NLP enough, whether you want to be an NLP practitioner, whether you want to be a hypnotherapist, whether you want to plug it into whatever other healing modality you offer, or if you just want the tools and techniques that'll help you transform the patterns in your life and maybe even be able to be of assistance to others to do the same. So that's just a few tasty tidbits anyway of what an intro, if you will, to what NLP is. I offer a practitioner training every year. There's one in October coming up on the island of Kauai. There'll be a link in the video.
Awesome.